All right, if you're a contractor in Utah, you've probably had questions about the state's license bond requirements. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all the jargon and give you the straight-up answers you need to protect your business and stay compliant. Let's be real. Trying to figure out Utah's contractor rules can feel like a bit of a maze, especially when you get to surety bonds. So let's just simplify the whole thing. We're going to walk you through what you need, when you need it, and why it's so important. Okay, so first things first, you've got to know about the $3,000 rule. It's simple. In Utah, if your construction project has a value of $3,000 or more, you absolutely have to have a state contractor license. That's the starting line for everything.
Okay, that makes sense. You need a license. But wait a minute. Does that mean everybody with a license has to go out and get a surety bond? That's the question that trips a lot of people up.
And here's the good news. The simple answer is no. A surety bond isn't a requirement for every single contractor. It's only needed if you hit certain, let's call them financial responsibility triggers that the state has set up. Basically, it all comes down to your financial history. So what exactly are these financial triggers? Well, it's how the state makes sure that contractors can actually meet their financial promises to clients and to their suppliers. It's really all about protecting the consumer. The Utah Division of Professional Licensing, you'll see it called DOPL, has a specific checklist of 5 things that mean a contractor has to get a bond. Okay, so here's the list. You're going to need a bond if you've had a bankruptcy in the last 7 years, or say you've had unpaid legal judgments against you in the last 5 years, or even delinquent payments in the last 2. It also kicks in if your business has a negative net worth, or if you just can't prove to the DOPL that you're financially responsible. If any of those sound familiar, then yeah, you'll need a bond. So, let's say one of those triggers applies to you. The next question is obvious, right? How much is this going to cost me? Well, the bond amounts are set by the state, and they depend on your specific contractor classification. The amounts are actually pretty straightforward. If you're a specialty contractor, you're looking at a $15,000 bond. For residential and small commercial guys, it's $25,000. And for the general building and engineering contractors, the requirement is a $50,000 bond. Okay, now hold on. Before you get sticker shock from those numbers, this is probably the most important thing to understand. You do not pay that full amount, not even close. You just pay an annual premium, which is a tiny percentage of that total. Think of the bond amount as the coverage you provide, not your out-of-pocket cost. So what are we really talking about money-wise? Well, if you have good credit, your annual premium is usually just 1 to 3% of that big number. That means at a $15,000 specialty bond could cost as little as $150 a year. And for that $50,000 general contractor bond, you're probably looking at a premium somewhere between $500 and $1,500. It's a manageable business expense. All right, you know if you need a bond, you have an idea of what it'll cost, so what's next? Well, the actual application is a super simple 3-step process. Step 1 is basically what we just did. Figure out your classification and whether you need a bond. Step 2, you just hop online and apply for your license with the DOPL. Seriously, it's often approved in less than 24 hours. And finally, step 3, if you do need a bond, you just file it with your application. That's it. It's a really quick and efficient process. We've covered the how-to, but I really want to take a minute to talk about the why. Why even bother with all this? Because the risks of trying to operate without a license in Utah, they are severe. We're talking financially and legally. I mean, just look at the difference here. If you're licensed, you build trust. And if a client refuses to pay you, you can take them to court to get the money you earned. But if you're unlicensed, you have 0 legal recourse. None. You're just out the cash, not to mention how it destroys your credibility. And if the thought of losing your hard-earned money isn't scary enough, there's this. Unlicensed contracting in Utah isn't just some little slap on the wrist. It's a Class A misdemeanor. That means you could face up to a full year in jail and a $2,500 fine. The stakes are just way too high to mess around. At the end of the day, getting licensed and bonded isn't about jumping through regulatory hoops. It's about fundamentally protecting your business and your livelihood. So if you've determined a bond is what you need, the next step is simple. You can get a free, no-obligation